Alright guys, back with Madden 12 Ultimate Team update number 4, and they threw a bunch of new collections at us to work on. They released 8 new team collections, which should pretty much take care of all the NFC teams, so now we await the rest of the AFC teams to be released. Also released was finally the home and away jersey collections, college collections Oklahoma and Florida State, as well as 2 Week 1 fantasy collections. I'll start off with the 2 jersey collections. For the home uniforms collection, you get an Elite Super Bowl 44 Stadium card that is supposed to boost the team's awareness. And for the away uniforms collection, you get Elite Super Bowl 48 Stadium card that boosts toughness. You also receive 125,000 coins for completing each one, which I think is a pretty good amount of coins. Now that they released these 2 collections, it brings yet another opportunity to make and build up your coins. I've sold a lot of bronze and silver jersey cards this weekend, not even 5 minutes after I list them. These 2 collections will definitely be easy collections that are redoable for coins. Now would also be a good time to start saving up on team playbooks if you haven't already, because it's only a matter of time before those collections are released. Moving on to the new college collections, for Oklahoma you get Elite 98 overall Adrian Peterson, which has the exact same stats as my Elite Promo AP and the Gold AP card. I would not waste any coins on this collection because the card is useless, especially if you already have Gold AP. They made no improvements to his stats. All they did was basically change his picture. Why they didn't change any of his stats is beyond me. For the Florida State collection, you get Elite 92 overall Lawrence Timmons. All they did was bump up his block shedding a couple points from an 86 to an 88. Everything else is the same. They were even too lazy to even make a new card. All they did was use the same picture as the Fantasy Ray Rice card. Again, really not worth doing the collection, but if you can get each collection card for 10,000 coins, you won't lose anything. The 2 Week 1 fantasy collections were easy to complete. I managed to get each fantasy card for 10k, so I actually made a little profit from the 2 since there are only 4 in each one. They didn't include all the Week 1 fantasy cards in the collections. I noticed they left out Terrell Suggs and Julius Peppers, as well as a few others. For the Week 1 Fantasy Offense collection, you get 90 overall Cam Newton, and I was actually surprised they made him that high of an overall already. For the Week 1 Fantasy Defense collection, you get 96 overall Brian Urlacher. My team has changed a little bit. I went out and bought Dan Marino off the block and picked up a few fantasy players to upgrade my team. I also bumped my chemistry up from a 99 to 100, which leads me to a question that I've been getting asked a lot lately, and that is how I managed to get my chemistry so high. Honestly, it really isn't that hard to do. You want to make sure that you have at least 2 players from the same team in your lineup. You'll notice in my offensive lineup that I have 2 Dolphins players and 2 Saints and Jets players. I have 2 Andre Johnsons, but they act as 2 different Texan players because they are 2 different cards. My defense is the same way. It's mostly filled with Ravens players. I have Revis to go along with my other offensive Jets players, and I have Willis to go along with my wide receiver Jerry Rice. You also want to make sure that you have 2 separate kick and punt returners and not use the same player. That will also help your chemistry. I have Barry Sanders as my 3rd down running back, and I'm using a different Barry Sanders as my main halfback. So again, just like my 2 Andre Johnsons, it acts as 2 separate Lions players, therefore helping my chemistry. Also, even using the correct stadium and coach card has an effect on your chemistry. You'll notice when I change from the Ravens stadium to the Buccaneers, it drops my chemistry 5 points. Just make sure that you use a stadium and coach card that goes along with players in your lineup. And 2, when you're on the auction or trade block looking at cards to help improve your team, it will tell you if adding that player will hurt or help your chemistry. It's something that you will have to take time to mess around with and maybe even add players in order to have a high amount of chemistry for your team. With all that being said, that pretty much wraps up this update. I will talk to you all in my next video. This is Infamous. Peace.